how to become aware of this mirror game.
Totally void, no thoughts. Just they become a channel. Because when you reach this moment, you become a channel of many other information. Insight from yourself, insight from the universe. It's me. Or it's the other person that is affecting me. How you are impacting for real. And you are creating this reflection of yourself into others. How can I understand what kind of emotion right now is going on within myself?
During the meditation, it's also very hard to stop the mind to be the void. So, how to be the void?
And we will see what this void will benefit you. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I have no hair.
Why my partner is so jealous?
That you want to change the other. It's not working. When you start to judge your partner, first of all, it's because you are judging yourself.
Welcome to the Awakening podcast, where we explore the personal growth and spiritual awakening with Antonio Ciano, also known as a modern shaman, who meets the ancient wisdom with modern techniques plus science. And each episode has insightful discussions, some techniques that will bring into the life inner peace, mental clarity, and self-discovery. Today, the topic is the mirror game, where we can see how we see ourselves and the world around us from spiritual, psychological, and mental point of view. First question to Antonio, what we mean by mirror game? What does it mean? I would like to ask our listeners to give the feedbacks to the 2 exercises that you gave, to write maybe their own stories, and to subscribe, follow.
Thank you, Diara. This is a very interesting topic, mirror game. Actually, it's the reflection of our thoughts, just to be short, because it's a very huge topic. And we can approach this topic from different point of view. Historically, the mirror game, the psychological, but even the philosophy about the mirror game is very, very ancient, coming from different kind of culture, from east to west in the world. Because the human being, when approached for the first time the always question, who am I? They start to see the reflections of themselves into others, especially into other person, but sometimes even into the environment. And this is the big meaning of mirror game. Actually, for me, it's a very powerful way to see yourself into the world. There is a nice tale coming from Buddha, actually. I will be very short, but it's very nice. Because one day, Buddha was with one of his students. The student asked, Master, I'm not understanding. Who am I? And Buddha just didn't reply to this question, told, please, go to the river and take a bucket with water, then come back and tell me what you see. He went there, he took the water, coming back, Master, I'm not getting the point. I don't know who am I. Okay. Go again to the river, take a bucket of water with water, come back and tell me the answer. He went there again and again, nothing. He was not getting the point. But one day, he went to the river. The student went to the river, was taking the water, but before to take the water, he was looking into the water and he saw himself into the water. Then he came back, talking to the master Buddha, says, Buddha, Master, now I know who I am. That's the point. He was reflecting himself into the water. And reflecting himself, maybe, of course, we don't know very well, but he has insight. Who was him? When we talk about who am I, the reflection of ourselves, in this case, I'm talking about the personality, the ego part of ourselves. You see that during the history always there was a way that people start to reflect, even when the real mirror was invented during our history, no? Because before it was in nature, you can reflect yourself actually really just into the water, no? You don't have a other tool like the real mirror where you can see yourself. Thank you to the mirror started a lot of things. And if we want to see, even from this point of view, even how the society developed after the invention of mirror, the real one I'm saying, the material one, many things changed because everyone can reflect themselves into a mirror and see them face, the body, whatever. And that's the game that started from all aspects of this game.
And for example, when I start to dance, I see every time different kind of participant, their movements, and I see in that moment my mirror, and I have insights every time, different kind of insights. And I want to ask from you, how to become aware of this mirror game?
That's a very important point, actually, especially in the shamanic practice. As you were talking, of course, we are working together. And so now you start to see from the other side, when you are leading an exemplary ceremony or whatever practice you are doing, you see how much is important your inner state. And this is a key. An example in a traditional shaman, they know very well that whatever is going on in their life or in that moment during the ceremony, they need to be void, totally void, not oath. Just they become a channel to, in that moment, to work with people, to heal, to give them the right space, the right setting, harmony, or anyway, to create a space that they can work easily, okay, and safety. The concept of the void is the concept that it's in all kind of practice, meditation, yoga, or wherever is your spiritual practice. It's a very deep concept that it's very important to reach on, because when you reach this moment, you become a channel of many other information, insight from yourself, insight from the universe, and wherever. This concept, it was very clear to me from the start, exactly, even when I was just assistant of other shaman. I start to see that everything that was happening in that moment to the participant in the room or in the, actually even in the jungle that is called Maloka, no, the house of the shaman, was in any case, from my point of view, my reflection of my inner state. Very simple example. I was having a moment of fear, and I saw through some participants, maybe not all of them, that there was a moment they were having the same. And I start to ask, now, what is the point here? It's me, or it's the other person that is affecting me? Actually, from my point of view, and from personal point of view, it's you. It's just a reflection. The shamanic practice, actually, that sometimes is a very long journey of 20 years, 30 years, is exactly that one. How to become void, especially during ceremony. So that you cannot, especially if you are leading a ceremony, you are not putting your own emotions into other person. So you are neutral. You reach a point of 0 point. You have no emotion, no thought. And this, of course, is a part of the practice of the shamanic journey. But this helped me, especially with traditional shaman, even to understanding something more. Because when then the ceremony was finished, and I saw the normal daily life of a shaman with their family, I saw that they were still having problems, many issues, and I asked to myself, wow, if I'm now becoming a shaman, whatever is my journey, I still don't know actually. I'm still working. Do I will have the same? Oh no, I don't want this. And that's why I start to figure out every moment, every time after the ceremony, what was going on in my logical mind. And of course, even in my body, what was going on actually? That I can put, like a paint with just point, and then you connect this point in order to understand what is really going on. And this is very powerful because at the start of my journey in shamanic path, I was working with an organization, and they were doing in the morning a kind of integration using some psychological technique, very interesting. And of course, after many years, I developed my own, that right now it's called the ego transcendence practice. Actually, this practice that you can use even not only related to a ceremony, but standalone, let's say, it's a mixture of techniques, psychological, but not only, even sometimes physical, shamanic, and science together in order to understand how you are impacting for real, and you are creating this reflection of yourself into others, especially from emotional point of view. What is going on? How can I understand what kind of emotion right now is going on within myself? That's from shamanic point of view. So, an example, just to reply finally to your question. I know very well when I'm doing a ceremony, I prepare myself, and I know very well right now, still I'm working because we are in a learning path always. It's a never-ending path of learning, to be void, to don't put my emotion, my thoughts into the ceremony, but to put this aside, outside this space, that it's a sacred space actually, especially during a shamanic ceremony.
I have a question: how to be this void? How to reach this point? It's easy to say, but for example, I can say from my point of view, the meditation. For me, it's even when I'm thinking, I know the mirror game and I'm playing with myself, but whenever I catch myself that I'm thinking, it's very hard to stop it. And during the meditation, it's also very hard to stop the mind to be the void. So how to be the void?
Of course, it's a journey that everybody of us is in this journey. No? How to reach the point of totally void. And we will see what this void will benefit you. From a psychological point of view, let's say, it's a very interesting way to do. First of all, because when you start this journey and you start to ask to yourself what is going on, why really, is it real that it's just a reflection of myself, we will see that this is real not only from shamanic point of view, and for me it's very clear, but even from psychological point of view and scientific point of view. Because now we can explain even from science, is it real that our reality is a kind of mirror of our inner state? But in order to reach the point of inner state emotionally, we have to play always before the game within ourselves. It means that, an example, many times when you wake up in the morning and you start to look yourself into the mirror, what is happening there? Most of the people start to judge themselves. Oh, wow, look at my eyes. Oh, my lips. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I have no hair. This is judgment, no? And it's always going on for most of people. Even when we are not looking in the mirror, I don't like my body, I don't like my voice, I don't like many things. This is already a mirror game that we are doing, because we are talking to our reflection. What is our reflection? From psychological point of view, it's our personality, it's our ego, what we call ego, no? Mm-hmm. And that's why the ego transcendence practice. Because before, you need to understand who are you from your logic mind, so from psychological point of view, who are you, how you behave in this way. And in order to do this, there are a lot of exercise and possibility to go back in your past, because of course, your personality, your ego right now, it's the path of all your past experience. What can be very interesting to see is that we start to do this mirror game since childhood. Let's think about babies and kids, especially kids. It's very interesting because they are always mirroring, doing even sometimes impression of them parents. And for me, the most stronger moment of this mirror game where I saw myself into an example, my kids, was really very powerful, that helps me even to stop to smoke cigarettes. I'm talking a lot about this, even about the void, shamanic void, and this special moment that I'm talking, and I will finish in my book, because this is my personal story, and it's true. I was with my two kids, one 2 years, another one it was 1 year, and I have a terrace, and I was smoking. I was smoking a lot, actually. It was really toxic for me. So, but I was smoking outside, never into the house, and I went into the terrace. And of course, my first son was following me everywhere, everywhere. Where I go, he was going with me. Wherever I was doing, he was mirroring me. But in that moment, I just was putting the ash into the plant of the cigarettes, into the plant, and my son looked at me and says, "Dad," and he did the same movement. Wow, this was mind-blowing moment, because I saw exactly in that moment that in some way I was teaching him how to smoke. And this was for me really the key that helped me to find the strength within myself to stop to smoke. Of course, for my healthy, first of all, but even for this. You see, if you use this in the right way, you can see this clearly in every person around you, because it's always a reflection.
Always, I totally agree. For example, I can share about my recent demetering, about my relationship, where I was thinking why my partner is so jealous. But then I stopped to put the finger on him, and I just asked from myself where it comes, this jealousy within myself. It was this point when I understood he's just a reflection, but it's my mirror, he's my mirror, and it's my jealousy, actually.
This is very interesting, but I have a question for you. Before the question, I want to just connect the things, because when we are talking about the mirror game, of course, we will see that there is a scientific reason even that we are doing this, especially for kids, I'm saying. They are imitating the parents in order to learn something new. An example, how to go into the bathroom, into the toilet, especially for kids, I'm saying. They are imitating and just mirroring the movements of another parent. This is from logic mind. But the deep point is about emotions. So my question, just to go there, through you, if you want, of course, to share this, it's about jealousy. Did you recognize where this jealousy that you mirrored in your partner and then he was so jealous to you, where this jealousy is coming from? Why you are jealous of another person? Because in this case, it's not just about your partner. Maybe jealousy was already within yourself. Maybe not only for a partner, maybe even, I don't know, in job or whatever. But where is coming from? Did you recognize that?
I did questioning to myself in that moment. And the first thought, the first memory that it came to me about the jealousy was that I was jealous for my mother's time, for her attention. When I was very small girl, I was always like wanting her to spend time with me, and I was jealous for her time. But I don't know, maybe it's not the root.
Well, I can say that you can recognize this because you are already in a journey of self-discovery, you are working, and because, of course, now you have the tools to recognize this. Most of times, the point is that for who is not already in a kind of journey, can be very difficult to recognize where it comes from. And in order to do this, an example in ego transcendence practice, we have a lot of exercise to help people to go back to the past, and to connect where was the sparkle of this, when it was the first time that you felt the emotion of jealousy, and why. Because when you recognize this, you connect that behavior that became a pattern. And I can tell you more why it's happening this. We have a very powerful way in our brain to create this mirroring game. I'm talking scientifically, from neuroscience point of view, that is called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the capacity to make strong connection between neurons in our brain that became then a pattern, and sometimes a loop, and that's the problem, but a pattern. It means, an example, now you can remember where you put the keys of your house, thank you to neuroplasticity, because it's created a pattern, and with your mind, you can back like a memory and remembering the movement that you do, the environment, like a robot, when he's scanning an environment. Now we have this kind of technology even on phones that is called LiDAR, that is scanning a room, and we do the same. We scan a room and we remember our movements, because in this moment we are doing, even right now, more than 40,000 operations in our brain. It's amazing how our mind is a really wonderful tool. And neuroplasticity is the capacity to create, especially when you are learning something new, this neural connection. And that's why kids, an example, start to mirroring them parents, because this is a way to create a neurons connection. And now you know, an example, how to walk, how to talk. That's why sometimes with kids, we start to say, Papa, Papa, Mama, Mama. And one day he will tell Mama. And we are so happy to hear that from his voice. He is just mirroring the movement of the lips, the voice, the sound. He doesn't know what does it mean, Mama, Papa. How to associate this word to that person. He doesn't know the difference between a male and female. It's very interesting, no, from this point of view. So science, it's helping us even to understand that wherever right now is the behavior that put you there, in this example with your partner, to be jealous, it's coming from something that you learned when you were a kid. But let's not forget that this is not just logical mind. It's even about emotion, especially. Emotions are the door to go there. You have to experience again that emotion where you were talking about. You were experiencing the jealousy with your mother, and it sometimes can become can become, a moment of very emotional moment, as is coming right now to you, because you are remembering that moment. It's a memory. But the root of the emotion is the same that you were feeling some days ago or wherever it was with your partner. It's the same root. What we became very good to is to put into a corner the emotions. And that's the problem. Because we don't live again that emotion. We think just that it's our partner, and we point the finger, as you say, exactly as you say. We start to point the finger to our partner. And this emotion that I'm feeling is because of you. Not true. It's not because of you.
And actually, I think to play the mirror game, first thing, from my point of view, you should become responsible. The first characteristic, very important, be responsible.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, because for me, responsibility is a misunderstood word. In this moment in our society, responsibility is something sometimes very heavy. You take the responsibility that you have a family, that you are growing. A responsibility is like you have to something. And that's why many times we feel not enough, because we have to. But the kind of responsibility that you are talking about is the responsibility that I'm creating my own reality. That's the responsibility that became inner power. You need to become responsible that this is your inner power. And when you become responsible, your inner power became the tool in these hands to navigate your life. And ego transcendence, actually, it's exactly this meaning. What does it mean to transcend your ego? It's not to put the ego somewhere else, because this is part of you. Your behavior, so your personality, your ego, is your tool, is your friend. You worked a lot of years in order to be what you are right now. You cannot take yourself and say, oh, I'm just, because it's not true. It's not true. Your ego is your beautiful tool. Of course, as a gardener that is taking care of the plants, you have to take care of your ego, because sometimes you develop a part of your ego that is not useful anymore. It was, but not anymore. So let's move forward. And so the transcendence of ego, it means that you detach yourself in order to become void, as we were talking before. You detach yourself from the ego and start to observe and become the observer of your ego. So, an example, just to move a little bit forward on the example that you did. Now, the next step, maybe, that can be even a nice insight for you, is that, okay, I recognize that in my partner was just a mirror of me. Then I became aware that this jealousy came from my childhood, because I was jealous about my mother, and so on and so on. Now, what to do? Once you experience this again, because you will experience again the moment of jealousy, the emotion I'm talking. So now you know that it's a pattern. How to change it? This is the interesting point, jump point. I call this the jump point, where you can break this pattern and say, okay, let's see if I can use this emotion and transform in something other. Sometimes, of course, affirmations helps a lot in order to change this behavior in your mind, again, for neuroplasticity, because when you say many times the same thing to yourself, who is listening? Well, yourself. When you say to yourself many times, I'm jealous, I'm jealous, I'm jealous, in different way, with voice, loud voice, not loud, thinking, who is listening? Who is the listener of this? You. Yeah, of course, even the environment, but the first is yourself. So change your words. This can be a nice way, an example, immediately to switch and to say, not a negative affirmation, I'm not jealous. I'm open. I'm open to experience something new. Because maybe this jealousy can be transformed in something that can open a door to new experience. And I'm talking even with the partner. I'm not saying that you are open, that your partner can go with other partner, but maybe what can happen is that when you open yourself to the possibility that right now the situation is this, you are jealous. And every time that you see your partner talking an example to another partner, you became jealous. This is just an example. So the first thing is to open. Let's see where he will go. Be curious. Give him the opportunity, because maybe he will talk to another woman just as a friend. And you start to enjoy, to see another perspective of him that you didn't know. And if you continue to say, Antonio, no, I already know where he will go. He will go with this woman, right? You are repeating that pattern. You are not breaking. Even you will recognize that an example, this man actually is addicted to go to other women and to don't have a one-to-one relationship. But now what you reached is that now you know that this is not the person that you want in your life. Very clear. And you are in peace with yourself because you did everything. You were not judging yourself, first of all, and then your partner. You were open to see, let's see, let's open, right? That's the point.
Yeah, and actually in that moment, everyone is following their true path, not changing each other.
Yeah, actually, this is the behavior that usually, especially in a relationship, that is not the topic of today, but yeah, it's very important. The mirroring game in a relationship is very strong. It's that you want to change the other. It's not working. You cannot change another person. Never. When the moment that you are starting to think that you can change your partner the way that you like, this is your ego talking. You are not really loving this partner. Because when you love a person, let's say you love your dog, you love as it is. You love your kids, especially kids because they are pure, no? Wherever they are doing, you love them. You smile, even when they are doing, something a little bit more tricky for you, you start to laugh. Oh, look at it. Oh, how smart is it? No? Then, of course, you show a different way. That's the point. You don't judge. You love everything. When you start to judge your partner, first of all, it's because you are judging yourself, as you saw very clear with the mirror game. And then because you want to change. So, and this is ego. It's not about emotion. It's not about the pure soul that you are, the true essence that you are. That's why when you transcend your ego, taking the distance, doing the void, you see very clear that this is a reflection of yourself. You don't want to change him. You just want to evolve yourself and say, okay, let's be open. Let's see where he will go. And if wherever will be the result, will be for sure a gift for me. Because two options. One, he will go with other partner, with other woman. And so you understand, thank you so much, because now I understand that you are not the person that I want in my life. It's not this what I want in my life. Thank you so much. You are a master for me. The other option is that, no, it was just friend. And you will recognize a new aspect of your partner that you didn't know, that is so easy to get in empathy with other people. And that's all. And you can enjoy this and say, oh, thank you. I didn't see that you are so good to make friends, and maybe I can mirror you right now and to see how to do very quick other friends. That is the evolution, especially in a relationship where the mirror game is very strong. It's the evolution of this. When I understood this, actually, even in my personal life with my wife, I understood very clear that I was just very egoist to try to change some behavior on my wife. I was not looking the half glass that it was already half full. I was looking that it was half empty. So the other part, and I want to change this, I want to put more water. No, this is ego. When I start to see this in my wife, I just start to enjoy another side, and I'm willing to know each day my wife, because each day I am different. She is different, and I want just to discover her, because we are changing. The environment is changing. Our kids are growing. My job is changing, and so on and so on. And many things are changing. Even our beloved, sometimes they pass away. And so something is changing. And we evolve ourselves, and we want just to discover, explore ourselves. We can apply this to all area in a relationship, including intimacy. This is very interesting when you do this mirror game, how many doors can open really even in your intimacy, that it's the most sacred moment in a couple, no? Where they are really connecting each other from all point of view, physical, mental, and especially spiritually.
Antonio, for me now interesting, do we have some soul luggage? I want to clarify that, for example, when we come to this world, we're pure void. And then we are creating the patterns, how you told, with our parents. But do we have something as a soul luggage, that we bring it already as a soul, some soul patterns.
This is very interesting because actually there is a bigger misunderstanding about, I think you are talking about karma, no? What is karma? Many people think that karma is because in past lives you did something and now you are paying for this. And actually this is a very good excuse to don't take the responsibility that you were talking about. Many people says, well, what I have to do? It's my destiny. Because I did in past bad thing, now I'm paying for this and my life is really hell because of this. Wow. If it's like that, wow, guys, we really are in hell. We are not in heaven, no? So this is not actually, even from historical point of view, this is not the meaning of karma. Karma is something much more bigger. And in order to try to understand, I like always to use science, especially quantum mechanics. So allow me some minutes in order to explain what I'm talking about, because this can help to understand how we create actually this mirroring game even into the reality and even with matter, with material things, how we are creating this. There is a very interesting experiment that it's called the double slits experiment. You can find these many videos on YouTube and many other social media. And it's very simple. It's a laser, actually. We have two slits and a wall, right? Then this laser is shooting, let's say, atoms. In this moment, I'm just simplifying, even because I'm not a quantum physicist. But in any case, I'm very passionate with this. So they are shooting these atoms through these slits on the wall. And they are looking at it and they see like just a pattern. Like when you shoot paint, you see that there is a normal pattern as a reference on the wall. Two slits and two slits pattern. They put like a camera that was catching the atom walking through these double slits, and so they were observing their effect. But and this is where quantum physics sometimes can be seems very strange and mind-blowing, is that in the same experiment, one day, they switched off the camera. Like nobody is looking what is happening when you shoot this atom through these slits. And something very strange happened, because the pattern on the wall was not just two slits, but became like a wave that was eating the wall. How is it possible? And what is happening there? Again, you can watch this to understand better on YouTube. This brings the quantum mechanics, that is the part of the quantum physics that is studying this, to understand that everything in this reality, it's a wave of possibility. There is no matter until you observe it. So when you are observing, an example in this case, the atom became the normal behavior of the matter and the pattern, no, that we saw. But when you are not observing, it became just a wave of possibility. Wow. This was very interesting the first time that I saw this experiment, and I tried to understand from, of course, with my knowledge, and there is a limitation in mathematics, so of course in my knowledge to understand even deeper this, but it's not my purpose, I'm not a scientist. But it was really blowing my mind. It says, wow, so that's why 5,000 years ago, 6,000 years ago, they were already talking about that. Even the same Buddha words were attracting what you are. What does it mean? And he was talking about to be the observer. What does it mean to be the observer? Now, putting together all these points that we even touched in this podcast, putting together the shaman that knows how to become void. Now we know from psychological point of view how to use the mirror game in order to understand where these emotions, this behavior, this pattern is coming in your life experience. Now we know that in this moment, when you are into the void and you become observer of yourself, you detach from your ego, you become the observer. Now it's just waves of possibility. And these waves, you can see these with, of course, other experiments that they did. These waves of possibility are without the parameters of time and space. That's why we are able, an example, when you are observer, to see that in, let's say, past lives. Why we can see past lives? With an example, there is a hypnosis regression. We can see something like that because we are giving attention to that. We are creating in that moment that reality. That is true. So, trying to reply to your question, there is a soul luggage. There is no luggage. There is a soul evolution. We are experiencing this life for a reason. We want to experience and to evolve our knowledge through this body, through this beautiful mind, through our ego, through this environment. We want to experience. And that's the point when you start to, to transcend from your ego. Yeah, you can become another Buddha, but sometimes it's just a very good way to stay in balance within yourself and to experience and to enjoy every single moment of this life. That is what we want in the right way. Because now, even we were talking in the first and second episode, now it's becoming very true what I'm saying even in the online courses. Your future is now. Because from now on, the inner state, the feeling that you are feeling right now about something that you want in your near future or your long-term future, it's from now. You are creating your future right now, especially when you are detached, you are into the void. You can look your future to feel what you really want for yourself. Now it's clear. You don't want an example, talking about the example that you were doing. It's clear. I don't want a man that goes with other partner. It's clear to me. So I want to find a man that is not attention, is love, is fulfilling me. And I'm totally fulfilled by his love, right? That's the point. And with this feeling, with this inner state, breathe. Do your exercise and maintain this energy to be void. But there is only one frequency. Love. I want this kind of love. I want to smell this love. I want to see this love. And you are creating in this moment, as we were seeing for the double slit experiment, already your future. It's already done. If you continue to focus on this emotion, and of course affirmation helps a lot, if you continue to focus on this, your future, it's already done. And we saw these many times in our life. How many times? An example, this is a question for you. You were in a moment where you have to choose something. An example, your path of studies that you did. Did you experience that you were feeling that this was your path? Even maybe your family was saying, no, because blah, blah, blah. But you felt, this is me. I want that. You don't know why. You want just to follow. Did you experience something like that?
Yes, I experienced it, especially when I was not in a high school, but smaller, in primary school. In that moment, I was feeling what I really wanted to become. Then, of course, you are facing with society, with parents. And then, in that point, I started, let me say, to bullshit myself and to change. But I exactly remember this first moment, who I wanted to become, to study.
This is very interesting, right? So you already know that it was done. In order just to give another little tool to our listener, I want just to propose you a very simple exercise and even quick exercise. This exercise you can do with your partner. It will be better and very even funny if you can do this with another person. Or you can do with yourself. And it's exactly the mirror game. The mirror game is when you are mirroring another partner. If you are doing with another person, it's very famous. So you start to talk and I'm mirroring you. The way that you talk, the way that you smile or whatever. Let's do an example. Let's start and you say something to me.
Let's start and you will say something to me.
Exactly.
Exactly.
This is the mirror game. Exactly.
Exactly.
So you can do this with your partner. And this is very helpful, funny sometimes, and sometimes even painful, because you see something in the other, how the other are looking at yourself. The way that you can do by yourself is very simple. As we saw, our brain is working mostly, 95% is subconscious mind that is working, and 5% is our conscious mind. So when we start to behave in a certain way, and we continue, like an example, driving a car, and we practice, this will go into your subconscious mind and will become automatic. That's why sometimes affirmations are so powerful. So the exercise is very simple. Please take note of this exercise. You look at yourself, possibly right after you wake up, okay? When you are going into the toilet, it's very easy. For now, let's do only this. Even you don't believe what I'm saying. Look at yourself into the mirror and say these 4 sentences. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. This is from Ho'oponopono, from Hawaii, very ancient culture. It's a very ancient way to do this. And let's do this for 21 days. Every day, every morning, even you don't believe what are you saying. But the power of this is something very, very deep, that it's from your mind. Neuroplasticity will create a new pattern, that you are sorry to yourself, that you forgive yourself, that you are grateful to yourself, and then finally that you love yourself. This will become a mantra to yourself. And more you do, more you start to believe. More you start to believe, and more this will become a new behavior of yourself. You start to have more faith in yourself, more confidence in yourself. More you do this, and more you will start to love yourself, even in little details. So this is a very powerful tool that I want to share with you.
Thank you. And in that moment, we will finish our today's podcast. And I would like to ask our listeners to give the feedbacks to the 2 exercises that you gave, to write maybe their own stories, and to subscribe, follow, and wait for the next episode. And maybe even you can put your contribution and you can write down the topic that you are interested in, and we will consider this topic for the next episode.
Yeah, Diara, thank you so much. This is very important to subscribe and activate the notification, because we are doing this podcast many times, and now it's on all the platform, not only in video but even audio on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or the podcast platform. There is the audio, so you can put in any case even their comments, questions that will help us in order to continue this journey with you, to share as much as possible what we already know, but why not? We can explore even some new topic. So thank you so much, Diara, really, for this nice moment.
Thank you for you, Antonio, and thank you for watchers. Bye-bye.